Hi, ladies. Welcome back to an encouraging word with V. Today, I want to talk about building our men instead of tearing them down. I've been seeing it very often, and of course, I've seen it, since I can remember, since I was a young kid. But now, understanding how crucial it is to build our men up, I really want to focus on this topic today, and I can't stress it enough. So, the first thing I want to do is open up by reading a verse to you. I want to read from Luke 6:45 says, "A good man brings good things out of the good stored up in his heart, and an evil man brings evil things out of the evil stored up in his heart. For the mouth speaks what the heart is full of." This verse has so much truth to it and is something that we really need to allow our hearts to absorb, and we need to read it carefully, so that we know what it's talking about. But the reason I read this verse today is because so often I see women day in, day out that belittle their men, that disrespect their men, that feel superior to them, and say and do anything they possibly can to make them feel less than. And I'm telling you now, that is wrong. That is so wrong. We don't do that, especially as women, as children of God. We're not to act that way at all. And I know a lot of us, we do it unintentionally. Sometimes you do it because of learned habits, because you saw it as a child, because you saw it as a teenager, and now as an adult, we act on those learned behaviors, whether we learned it from our mother or from our sister, from our aunt, from our grandmother, or from a stranger. They're, behaviors that we learn and we act upon. But today, if you're one of those people, one of those women that is stuck in one of these cycles where you tend to belittle your man, especially your husband, or you tend to disrespect him, and you're very hurtful with your words, I want to ask you today, please stop. Our men, you know, are to be respected. They are to be loved. They are to be cared for, especially by us. Because guess what? If we don't do it, someone else around the corner is going to come and they're going to show that man, your man, that love, that care, that respect that they want. So it needs to start in our homes today. I want you to know that you can break out of that cycle, because I broke out of that cycle. This subject is very dear to me, because I was one of those women. I was one of those women that was bitter, that was angry, and the way that I acted upon that anger was by saying a lot of things that were wrong, and you know it didn't make me feel any better, but I still did it over and over again, until one day my husband said, enough is enough. I'm gonna put a stop to it. And I remember us sitting down and him saying, look, you don't understand, but I'm I'm a man that requires words of affirmation. And when you call me names, whether it's dumb, whether it's lazy, whether it's good for nothing, you are breaking me down. You are tearing me down. And man, did, you know, that it really affected me, because I'm like, I had to do a self reflect and ask myself, is that what you want to continue in? Do you want to continue being that bitter woman? Do you want to continue breaking your man down, especially after he has already told you, that it's wrong, that he doesn't like it? And I had to make a decision right there and then, that I was no longer going to be that woman. Whatever pain, whatever hurt I was dealing with, I had to confront that pain first and find the root of the problem, because there's always a root of the problem. Sometimes we just say, we are the way we are because we're just this way. But no, it's not just because of that's who we are. It's because, again, learned behaviors, hurt, pain that we've gone through, unforgiveness that we carry in our hearts. And the way that it comes out is by disrespecting others, by belittling them, by breaking them down. And I don't know about you, but that's not what I want in my family, because I don't want my little girl seeing those behaviors enacting upon them herself when she grows up, and when she has a relationship, or when she's married. I don't want her to be that way. I want her to be a different type of woman, a different a woman, that is admired, a virtuous woman that glows, that is, that it is something that her husband, is proud of. And I can now say that I am now that woman. And so often do I come across women that belittle their men, you know, in so many different ways, but especially in name calling. They call them stupid. They call them worthless. They call them lazy, good for nothing. You're not a good father. You're not a good spouse. You're not a good provider. You're a sucky son, and just things that are very hurtful. And yes, sometimes we may not mean it, but the thing is that when we act upon that behavior and we say those words, man, words are so powerful. Again, words can either build you or they can break you, especially a man. We don't realize how much a man is affected by words, but trust and believe that they are. They can act like it doesn't faze them. They can act like they didn't hear you, but when they go to bed or when they're by themselves, and they begin to think about those things that you said, they begin to believe those things. And that's not what you want. You want to build your man up. So even if you don't believe it, even if you don't feel it, learn how to build your man up. Begin to be thankful for him. First, come to God and say, Lord, you know my heart. I've messed up. I haven't been that virtuous woman that you have called me to be. I carry a lot of pain in my heart. I carry a lot of hurt in my heart, a lot of bitterness. Whatever it may be that you have in you, give it first to God. Ask him for forgiveness, and he will forgive you. And ask him, show me how to be a better woman, how to be a better wife, how to learn how to speak to my husband, how to be someone that can build him rather than break him. And God is going to do that for you, because God honors that. We have to we he honors when we realize that we're in the wrong. And when we want change, he gives us that change. Ask him to give you wisdom, for the word says that, ask for wisdom and he will give you wisdom, and he will allow you, he will walk you through, this process of change. He will restore your mind. He will restore your heart. He will begin to remove that pain, that bitterness that you carry in you. And if you don't know why you carry those things, ask him, show me why I behave the way that I do. Show me what the root of the problem is, and trust and believe that he will show you. And don't expect an instant, transformation. This is something that takes time. It takes practice. Yeah, that you will mess up. Heck yeah, you're gonna mess up, because trust me, it took me, I don't even know how long. It took me a long time, years to get it together, to be better. But I can tell you now that it was one of the best decisions that I ever made, because it truly freed me. And I can tell that it's freed my husband too. I see him now, and his joy, his happiness, is much more than what it was before. I don't see that same man that I used to look at before. Now I can see how God has truly worked in him, and how such little gestures and words have made a world of a difference. And now, instead of breaking him down, you know I make intentionally decisions to build him up. I tell him how great of a father he is, how great of a spouse he is, how great of a son he is. I I even tell him how great of a hairdresser he is, and whatever comes to mind, on a daily, or, as much as I can on a weekly basis. I try to lift him up with words, but not just, fake words. They're things that I truly mean, but I want him to know that. Because I want him to know that he's cared for, that he's loved for, that I'm on his side. That he doesn't have to lean on anyone, because I'm his shoulder to lean on. I'm I'm a woman worthy to be called his wife. And I want him to know that on a daily. So I want to encourage you. If you are stuck in such cycle, change that cycle. Stop it as of now. You can't do it alone, but with God, all things are possible, and we can change anything in us that we don't like about ourselves. The good thing about it all is that God is so gracious, and God is consistently molding us, and making us into his vessels, allowing us to go through a daily transformation. And if you have been trying to change and you don't see a full change, don't give up. Don't give up yet. Again, know that this is a process. Know that this takes time, and know that God will finish his perfect work in you. He's not done with you yet. He's never done with us. Because guess what? After this process, we go on to the next, and to the next, and to the next. And if you're one of those women that say, well, I act the way I act because he deserves it, and he calls me names too, and he truly is what I call him, so that's why I say what I say. That's not gonna change a thing. It's not. It's only gonna make it worse. So even if it may be true that he deserves it or he is what you say he is, you got to start declaring something different over him, and start believing that he is a better man, that he's a good man, that he is a good father, that he's a good spouse, that he's a good provider, that he's a hard worker, that he's a man of God, that he is a child of God, set apart, that he is different from all the other men, because a popular saying that I hear consistently is they are all the same. And guess what? They are not all the same. We need to stop believing that. And if you truly believe that, man, I feel bad for you. I really do, because that means that you're gonna be miserable for a long time until you realize, no, things can be different. We don't have to follow patterns of the world, patterns that we see in other couples or in other marriages. If they're not good examples, don't even look that way. Don't even um don't even surround yourself by toxic stuff like that, because when you surround yourself by toxic stuff, it's cancerous. And what does it do to you? It just transfers over to you. Whatever toxic that relationship or that marriage carries, guess what? It's now going to transfer over to your relationship, to your marriage. So because of that, it's so important that we surround ourselves with godly people, with godly marriages, with godly relationships, people that are seeking God's words, God's truth, people that really want to have a blessed and successful life. Because if there's one thing that I believe, and I believe with all my heart, is that I will see God's goodness here on earth. And I believe that in every part of my life, whether it's in my marriage, whether it's in my home, whether it's with my family, in my job, in our business, in every part of my life, I believe it and I declare it. I believe that I will have a successful marriage. I believe that I will make it till death do us apart. Not because of who we are, but because of God, who God is, and because of what He's already done in our lives, in our marriage, during this process, during this time. And I know that He carries us. Yeah, we're not perfect. Yes, we've made mistakes. Yes, we will continue to make mistakes. But the good thing about it is that He is a good Father, in that He continuously renews us, continuously strengthens us. So I know He will strengthen you. He will give you that courage. He will allow you to have the strength to forgive and be able to move on. If you're one of those people that are so full of bitterness, and you say, V, you don't understand. He's hurt me so much. I get it. I get it, because I've been hurt so much too. But it took me realizing, hey, I'm only hurting myself if I don't truly forgive, and I allow myself to become even more bitter. I'm only hurting me and those around me, and I could no longer do that. I had to make that decision to stop when I did. And again, I thank my husband so much for voicing his opinion and letting me know that enough was enough, and that I couldn't continue in that cycle that I was in. He was gracious enough to tell me, look, I've been hurt as a child, and I was abused with words, and belittled with them, and because of that, they affect me so much, and if it wasn't for him having that courage of letting me know, I would have never known. But sit down. I encourage you this week, sit down with your spouse, sit down with your significant other, and ask them, hey, am I lacking in this area? Do I hurt you with my words? Because if I do, I want to change that cycle. I want to be better. I want to be someone that builds you up. I want to be a woman that is worthy to be loved. I want to be able to respect you and honor you the way that you deserve it. And trust me, trust and believe that God is going to honor that. And then come together in prayer and ask God to work in you guys and help you guys break those habits, break those cycles. And before you know, your marriage, your relationship is going to be so much more blessed than what it is now. So I hope this bless you, and share it, like it, subscribe to this channel, and I will see you guys next time. It's always a joy to come and speak to you guys. And again, if there's any topic that you guys want me to speak about, let me know. Please comment, because that way, we can help each other out, and we can continue to encourage one another. So with that being said, have a good night, and bye-bye.